Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Askgufish. Before we get into the video, notice anything different? Well, yes, I did get a haircut, thank you. And also, yeah, I've moved again. I do this way too often. Fingers crossed this place has fewer meth heads and fewer shootings. Anyways, I'm trying to figure out the camera angles and stuff. I don't know what to do about this glare. Packing and moving everything, I've realized I've just accumulated way too much gear. So I've got a couple of guitars up on reverb right now that I've held on to because I really like them, but just don't get enough playing time. I've also got a couple pedals that sound great, but are just so inexpensive new that they aren't even worth selling after platform commissions. So there's a post on Instagram right now. Follow me, leave a comment. I'll choose a comment at random and send you a pedal with a high integrity sticker, as long as you're in the US. I'm sorry, international shipping is expensive and I'm not made of money. Alright, don't forget to drop a like at any time if you're enjoying the video, and now let's just jump straight into your questions. When are we seeing your new Harley Benton signatures? Yes, so this is like the eternal question. I started teasing these like back in March. Those were the initial prototypes of the first guitar I started designing with Harley Benton. Thank you guys so much for the continued hype and continued interest. I know, it's taking forever. Believe me, I'm even more impatient than you. It looks so cool, but I really wanted to make sure that we got everything right. So by the time this video goes up, the hopefully final prototype with custom voiced pickups and improved neck joint will have shipped. It will be on its way to me for final approval. So fingers crossed, just a little while longer. I've purposely not made any solid promises throughout this entire process because timelines can be fluid. That being said, I can say with a pretty high level of confidence now, be on the lookout for pre-order links soon. Please do a demo on a Wolf WLP 750T 2019. You know, the Wolf stuff has been on my list for a while. Since Guitar Max did his video on them, they've kind of become like a cult favorite amongst budget-conscious single-cut lovers. So basically, like, the core audience of this channel. The WLPs seem like very solid competitors to, like, the Agile ALs or the Michael Kelly Patriots. The WLP is their take on the single-cut. They're Korean-made, and the spec sheet is very impressive at around 500-ish bucks. They've only got one single-cut model at the moment, and that's the 750T, which retails for $499 US with a hard case, or $499 without. For specs, we're looking at a mahogany body with a mahogany neck and what looks to be a rosewood fingerboard. They haven't listed it on the website, kind of sketch. But speaking of looks, Wolf has really committed to the abalone with the 750T. In addition to the white plastic binding on the front and back of the body, on the neck and on the headstock, there's inner abalone binding on the body top as well as on the headstock. The headstock logo and text involves a ton of abalone, and even the trapezoid inlays are, you guessed it, abalone. It's a lot. Personally, I find abalone a little gaudy, especially the gold hardware. Like, it's one of the things that put me off a lot of the LTD EC1000s, but I know some people are really into that, so I'll wait and see how it looks in person to make a final judgment. In terms of other features, the Wolf LPs come with Korean hardware, their own custom wound pickups, and Grover tuners. Newly released 2019 versions come with bone nuts. I'm not sure what they came with before, maybe Graphtec. Right now they're available in a surprisingly large number of different finishes. We've got Blue Burst, Trans Blue, Tiger Amber, Cherry Burst, Tobacco Sunburst, Brown Burst, Black Burst, Red Burst, Trans Red, Trans Purple, Trans Green, and White Burst. My favorite though has to be the $799 special edition. Like, I mean, bro, I heard you like abalone. If you're gonna go down the abalone route, you may as well go all the way, right? I mean, out of all of them, this would easily make the best thumbnail. A couple of specs suggest that rather than being vintage inspired, this is more of a modern take on the Les Paul. The relatively thin neck and a flat C shape, as well as the super flat 16-inch radius. It's out of the ordinary for sure, and while I'm not huge into those specs, it does set the WLP apart from most of the other single-cut alternatives out there on the market. Now, All-in-One Guitar seems to be their only US distributor, and I've emailed them a couple of times, but they've never responded to me. It's a familiar story, to be honest. Smaller companies can be kind of difficult to reach out to. Maybe I'll ask Max about it. So I am totally down to demo a Wolf LP because obviously, this channel is single cut central. What do you guys think though? Interested in a Wolf LP video? Yes, no, maybe so? Poll in the top right. By the way, what do you think of the new As I Lay Dying album? I wasn't even aware they had a new album, to be honest. Hunter lives under a rock, confirmed. So I just listened to Shape by Fire on Spotify, and I mean, it's a fucking solid metalcore album. The riffs, the melodic choruses, the production, just so solid. Got to address the elephant in the room though. Tim Lambesis and his attempt to hire an assassin to murder his now ex-wife. Thankfully, that assassin turned out to be an undercover cop, so instead he was sentenced to prison. Not a great situation though, to put it incredibly mildly, and for me it definitely casts a shadow over the music as good as I found it to be. It kind of brings up a moral question though, like how much does the criminal record of one member affect the enjoyment of a band's music for you? Like for example, Lost Prophets. Start Something used to be one of my favorite albums of all time, but since the singer's conviction for child sex offenses, and I feel bad for the other members of the band, but I can't listen to any of that discography anymore. Latest on that, by the way, is he just got additional time to his 30-year sentence for hiding a phone in his butt, so yeah, good riddance. Back to As I Lay Dying. To be honest, I've never been huge into Tim's harsh vocals anyways, but again, there are 4 other members in the band that are fantastic musicians. Is it unfair to punish them by boycotting their music for Tim's crimes? But again, it's their choice to continue working with him, and he did the jail time. I don't know. You can blame the steroids and drugs all you want, but it's a fucked up situation. So yeah, I completely understand if you don't want to go anywhere near Shaped by Fire, but if you're into those old school metalcore riffs, I definitely think it's worth a listen. I actually think musically, this might be their best album. My Own Grave, Take What's Left, and Shaped by Fire are the highlights for me. I mean, I would have enjoyed it way more had the vocalist not tried to murder his ex-wife. But yeah, what do you think of Shaped by Fire, and is that at all influenced by the situation outside the music? Really curious, let me know in the comments down below. And before we get into the last question, I want to give a shout out to Simon Bell and the rest of the amazing patrons that make this content possible. If you want to directly support what I do as well and get some bonus perks, you can join the Patreon community through the link below. Alright, into the last one for this week. Hunter, please check out the Dave Rude Flying V. The Dave Rude Flying V. This one looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? Not gonna lie, had to Google who Dave Rude was. That's not supposed to be a burn or anything. I don't know who anybody is, to be fair. But yeah, he's one of the guitarists in Tesla who seem to tour quite regularly with, like, Def Leppard. At first glance, it's like Epiphone had some leftover Snow Falcons and just slapped on a bright red pickguard. And you know what? It might have started life as something like that. In the official video, which I'll link down to you below, Dave explains that the design was inspired by his favorite Tom Petty concert t-shirt. He actually got his first Epiphone V with the phenolic fingerboard back in 2015, so that was probably when they were prototyping the Snow Falcon as well for release in 2016. So based on that timeline, I'm guessing they're both variations on the same kind of prototype. Either way, spec-wise, there's a lot of similarities between the two: the mahogany V shape, the mahogany neck, and of course, the white phenolic fingerboard. Huge fan of that feature. It feels like a super well-oiled ebony board. I'm still waiting for the Fishmans to start showing up in the Heavy models to pick up a 6-string Snowfall, standard Epiphone hardware and Grover tuners, but there are actually more differences than just the very obvious red plastics. The output jack has been moved down to the end of the tip, so it's on its own little red island, just like on the t-shirt. And while the Snow Falcon had binding on the top of the body, Dave Rude's does not. The pickups are also different. The Snow Falcon had Gibson burst buckers, this one has a Pro Bucker 3 in the bridge and a Pro Bucker 2 in the neck. Not a huge fan of either set, but I'd feel less guilty replacing Epi Pro Buckers over Gibson pickups. Dave Rude's also has an additional control knob, so you've got individual volume controls for each pickup, as well as a master tone. That means you can do the kill switch trick, which is always fun. A more subtle difference is the neck shape. Both have slim necks, but while the Snow Falcon had a D shape, this one has a C. Personal preference, I don't mind either. So a lot of the new upper range Epiphones are coming with a new Epi light case, and this one is no exception. It's got the V-shaped version. You'll hear more about the Epi light case when the demo of the Jared James Nichols Old Glory Les Paul comes out. Eventually. It's one of the, 5 demos that I'm working on right now. I'm waiting on a guest solo for the demo track, but the guest is busy being on tour or whatever, so it's taken a while. But yeah, the Epi light case looks kinda tacky, but it's surprisingly rigid and robust. It's no gig bag, and it's also not a direct replacement for a proper hard case, but it's a really nice, convenient, lightweight transportation solution. Yeah, so I'm not secretive about it. I'm not nearly into Vs as I am into Les Pauls. I don't find them comfortable to play. I know you're supposed to play it classical style, but that's not comfortable for me either. That's kind of like the summary of why I don't do many V demos. It's not that I hate the look of the shape, it's just annoying to work with. But I know there's a lot of hype around this guitar. I'm a huge Epiphone fanboy, and there aren't that many videos on this particular model on YouTube right now. So what do you think? Do you want to see a demo of the Dave Rude Flying V? Poll in the top right. Actually, the poll doesn't matter at all. I've got one right here that I picked up from Sam Ash. You can vote anyways if you want to for funsies, but yeah, it's happening. And now it is time for the high praise of the week. You're an whole idiot. Well, if you're ever having trouble explaining the meaning of irony, it's this. It's this right here. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Ask-A-Fish. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and hit the like button. That actually really helps a lot. Leave your thoughts and your questions in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Social media, merch, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.